Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to first Outriders video that I'm doing, possibly one of many, right? And I want to go over a build that I've been, testing. Actually, I just started it a couple of days ago. Um, it was an offshoot of the current build that I was using, prior to the new World Slayer patch, huge rebalance patch. And the reason why I started this build was, well, the thing that what inspired this build was basically uh, the Pyro AP Eruption build. Okay, so everybody knows about the Pyro AP Eruption build, and how it's one of the best builds for I guess solo end game content, take out bosses. They take down bosses really quick, right? And one of my buddies was actually running that build, and you know great. He loved it. Was taking the boss down real quick. The only problem was that it was great for him, but not so great for other players playing with him, right? So every time I played with him, and whenever we got to the Arbiter boss, I basically just couldn't see anything, right? And I'll explain what I'm talking about here. So, uh, you know, here's a YouTube video of one of the Pyro Eruption builds, right? Shout out to Gamer Nesto for posting, this video. Well done video, right? So, let me get to it. Actually, more interested about the boss fight. Right here, right? You see? So you saw how he was able to aim at the beginning to proc his critical shots? Because, there's a lot of stuff in game that requires critical shots to get bonuses, right? For example, Mage's Rage. Critical shots grant a 10% anomaly power bonus, right? For 15 seconds, right? And how do we get that bonus? They get critical shots. And how do we get critical shots? For example, the Arbiter, you aim at its head, right? To get critical shots. So he does his thing. He aims, he gets critical shots. Great. Okay. Now, if you don't do it by when he's doing it too, or you do it after him, guess what happens? He throws his eruption, and guess what? Now you can't see anything, right? You can't see shit. You're basically spraying and praying, hoping to get the critical shots, right? I mean, you can kind of go by his HP, but still, right? With so much shit going on, and it's just not this boss; it's other bosses and expeditions as well, right? Whenever there's an eruption or even players that use volcanic mods, Firestorm, things like that. Firestorm's not so bad, but look at this. You can't see anything. So, it was kind of frustrating, right? Because basically you feel kind of useless, right? You can't proc your bonuses, as well as say without this, right? Because normally, you wait till it ends and okay, great. See when it ends, that's when he does his proc. It's great, right? He has no problem. Okay. And then if you don't do it at that time, okay, where do you shoot? I guess you can aim, hope for the best. But I have instances where I've been aiming, in the vicinity of the head, hoping to get crit shots. I don't get any crit shots. And when the fire's gone, the Arbiter ends up being on his knees instead. I'm like, okay, that's why I was missing, right? Or he moves out of the way, right? Like that. So, and that's pretty much what kind of inspired this build. And I even had my friend, play another class while someone else was playing the eruption build, and he kind of saw the problem the frustration that I was getting at, right? So that's kind of what inspired this build, right? Um, so, and the reason why I need to get critical shots is because I like to use Mage's Rage, okay? And I think I found a build that kind of makes it so that you don't really have to aim, right? Um, Number one, this build, this is for the Trickster, by the way, but you can use this for any other class, right? To proc your crits, right? But for the Trickster, you know, I am using a mod that I didn't really know about, but it has to do with sidearms, right? So first, I want to go over the build real quick. Aside from the bypassing the whole eruption, playing with eruption builds and stuff like that, this build also does very well too. Um, you know, Especially this setup I have right now. This setup I have right now is mainly focusing on farming the Arbiter boss and taking down the Arbiter boss or any other bosses in game. And the reason why is because I'm using a couple of mods that I wouldn't normally use when I'm clearing maps. and we'll go over the mods that I'll use for map clearing, ad clearing, and then this one for boss setup, right? So I guess we'll go over the skills first, right? Hunt to Prey, Twisted Rounds, Vendor's Knife, right? Pretty cookie cutter build for tricksters, right? That use the Twisted Rounds build. Um, and this all revolves around the shield beast set. A lot of people are using the shield beast set, right? And what the shield beast set does is that every percent of shield increases your anomaly power by 1%. And right now, shield beast firepower, anomaly power to firepower build, I still think is still the meta for trickster. So, but what we're doing essentially is trying to ramp up our anomaly power and then converting that into firepower by how? By activating Twisted Rounds, which does the snapshot, right? I'm not going to go over the build too much because there's a lot of videos on YouTube right now, going over this build. Mine is a little offset, but I just want to go over the gameplay and the mods, okay? But here's the class. I'll put a picture of the skill tree too. I used to have it spec to Harbinger, right? I used to have bottom tree up and then to Harbinger. Why? Because every activation of Deception skill grants you 50% shield. So all I had to do was pop, 2 skills, right? To get up my pop my skill twice to get 100% shield, right? But you do lose a little damage, but not that much because of the pack tree that we're using, okay? But instead, I changed it up. And the reason why is because, and I'll go over that also after this, is, I went up to here, right? It's just extra damage every time I activate certain shields and stuff like that, skills and stuff like that. The pack tree is this guy right here, this bad boy, Spectral Spike, okay? I love this node. Been using it, for the last, I don't know how long, over a month already, right? I know that a lot of the top YouTubers are using this guy, Perpetual Trickery, and also the bottom tree, Goals, and Meticulous Schemer. Those are good. A lot of damage, potential damage, but this one is very forgiving, right? And why is it forgiving? Because every damage, consecutive damage, it just slowly ramps up, ramps up, ramps up. And when you're dealing up to damage up to 750%, that's a shit ton of damage, right? Okay. But if you don't know about Spectral Spike, I suggest you go, do a little research. It's a great build, and the longer the fight goes, the actual more damage you do with Spectral Spike, which is kind of good and bad. But even with this pack tree, we're taking down the Arbiter pretty quickly, right? So, all right, let me go back to the character. So yeah, it's the shield piece set. I have a lot of the the anomaly mods, right? So all the veteran tricksters will will pretty much know all these mods straight off the bat, right? And the reason why I'm using the pistol, okay, is this guy, high stakes, okay. Rolling after 4 successful shots with your sidearm grants a 100% critical chance bonus for 3 seconds. So that's what makes it great, right? So now all I have to do is I can aim anywhere in the body. So even when someone throws up an eruption, when the pyro throws up their eruption, their wall of fire, as I like to say, right? Uh, Guess what? Just aim at the fire. You'll hit the body. You might not get critical shots, but you'll hit the body. And after 4 successful shots, all you gotta do is roll. And when you roll, you fire right after. That's when you will get your critical hits guaranteed. Because 3 seconds, right? Once you roll, you get any shots after that. You hit the body, they become critical hits. And when you get your critical hits, then you will proc your Mage's Rage or any other crit bonuses, crit mods that you have, right? I mentioned that before that I changed my skill tree here, right? To from here to up here, right? So how do I build up my shield? Okay, so first thing is when I use this skill, Hunt to Prey, that gives me some shield, right? But now I'm using this pistol. It came with Shield Maiden. Shots generate shield. That's great for me, right? So while I'm shooting at the body or shooting at the wall of flame or whatever, I'm generating shield. And I wait for my shield to hit 100%. And that's when you go for it. You take your snapshot of twisted rounds and yeah, you go from there. Okay, so very important that when you do use a pistol, it should be a full auto pistol, right? Because you want that high RPM damage. Okay, and then everything else, it's you can follow the very important. Let me see this mod right here. Uh, cut them deep. Ventilated the second slot. Elites marked by the knife receive a 30% more damage. So that's why I wrote that on, right? Generally, when I'm ad clearing, I'll use good old time rift, right? I have gear for time rift, right? And then that's what I'll roll with, right? Uh, yeah, and that's pretty much it, right? So let's go over. Let's go ahead and just try this. Let's see here. Okay. And it's just fun using this build too, right? Just taking down the bosses. So here we go. So you shoot, right? Shoot. Okay, I'm at.
Yeah, whatever. It's time to die, even if you have to wait
Took my snapshot.
years for it.
Guaranteed critical hits. And I like to roll right after popping Venonator's knife, because when you pop Venonator's knife and you roll, you actually cancel the animation, right? So you see, it's pretty simple, right? We could run it again too, just to check it out. I don't know. We'll just select the reward real quick. Okay, we'll run it again, right? And we'll go over the rotation again. So yeah, so basically you shoot, right? Do hunt the prey. That'll build up your shield. Okay. Shoot some more, and then when you have your shield at 100%, you want to proc Mage's Rage. And how do you proc Mage's Rage? Uh, Obviously, as you're shooting him to get the shield up, you've already shot him a few times. Roll right afterwards. Once you roll afterwards, you'll get the critical hits, and then that's when you can proc twisted rounds, right? So we'll do it again. But yeah, like I said, even I tested this with my buddy who's using the pyro, right? And yeah, I didn't care anymore. I didn't care that I was aiming at a wall of fire and I couldn't get any critical hits, right? Because using that high stakes mod basically just automatically crits for me. Okay.
Shit. What if this is where all the
I mean, you can see it's pretty simple, right? It's just not even thinking, right? Shoot. Hunt the prey, shoot. I'm building up my shield. Look, I have 100% shield. I roll. Automatically critical hits.
Yeah, whatever. It's time to die.
Prop.
Even if you have to wait here
Practice the rounds. And then you go from there. Right? So say he throws his flame up right now. I can't see anything, right? I can't see anything. I just roll. Critical hit, right? So roll again, you get your critical hits. And he's down. I kind of messed that up, but you kind of get the idea, right? So basically, it's you could take him down if I I think the fastest I've taken down was like 15 seconds, right? That's just not screwing around. But that's pretty much it. All right, guys. So I'm gonna post this video. It's a fun build to play. It's a really quick boss farming, right? If you have a trickster, and I think this build can work with other builds too, right? Just automatic critical hits. You don't have to aim. You don't have to aim for the head. That's what's great about it. All right. All right. Take care, guys, and hopefully I'll make some more videos after this. See you soon. Bye bye.